Ooh, it's freaking cold in Florida this morning, boys. Quick answer on a question that I got. Somebody asked if you could wipe X primer off. And that's the catalyst on the X primer, which we taped right here. And we etched this side and this side isn't etched. Some leak through here, obviously. But no, you can't wipe it off. Once the etch process is done, you can wipe the primer part off, but the etched metal stays etched. So that's why I like that. If you were to spray epoxy down and you didn't let it dry thoroughly, you could take a rag with some lacquer thinner, you could wipe it off and the metal would be just like it was before you primed it with etched primer. It's obviously etched the metal there and made a chemical process into the steel, where the epoxy primer is a mechanical grip. The only adhesion that the epoxy has to the steel is the mechanical grip that you put in with the 80 grit or the 180 or 220, whatever your manufacturer calls for. With an etch primer, it's a chemical process with the steel, so that's why I like to go with the etch primer first, etch it, and then put my epoxy on top of the etch, because I know the etch is locked into the steel, where the epoxy just basically lays in the scratch. So that's my thoughts on the epoxy primer. Hopefully I won't get any thumbs down. Every time we talk about epoxy, it's sort of a sensitive subject. And epoxy primer varies from manufacturer to manufacturer whether it can go on bare steel or not. So it's always best to check with your tech sheet on the product. Etch primer is also, it's a chemical process, and I like the chemical process to the steel rather than depending on the scratch. So you can go over a much finer sanded surface when you start with your etch primer, opposed to putting an 80 grit or a 180 scratch in the steel. Most people are way more comfortable with an 80 grit scratch rather than the 180 for the epoxy primer. So it's personal preference, and it's also, what the manufacturer recommends is what I always recommend. I wouldn't vary from the tech sheet. So if it says you can go over bare steel and you don't have to etch prime it with a particular product you're using, then that's great. You just eliminated a step. Or you can look at it as the etch primer is just an extra step of insurance. So it just depends on how you look at things and what your thought process is. So let me show you how cold it is here. It's below 30. We're at like 28 degrees. So yeah, it's freezing cold today, and even the cat's cold. So Rich, there's a flashlight or your Mustang book. I don't know, I'm sure you'll personal message me today. Let me know which one you want. You are the snowman winner. Actually only had one snowman. Pretty sad. But I understand a lot of you guys didn't have snow, so I think Pisser could have built a badass snowman, but he didn't want to get out of that truck. So I don't know what we got over here. Fire truck or garbage truck. I don't know. All right, well, let's go find the power stroke. Somebody wanted me to do a cold start, so this will definitely be a cold start. It's about 28 degrees this morning, and I think that's just about as cold as it's been since I bought this truck in the last 2 or 3 years. So, yeah. Brr. Oh man, it's freezing, dude. There's ice. Look at this ice. Ice, guys. Ice on the window in Florida. Okay. Here's the truck. Here's the key. And I heard about some stupid law in Florida last night on TV where that you can't start your vehicle in the morning and let it idle and warm up. And if you live in Osceola County, which is out by Disney World, woo, it's freezing, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and double glow plug it. They can write you a ticket for 160 bucks. And they came on TV last night and said that they'd be enforcing that. So tonight, or this morning in Kissimmee, or Osceola County, there's cops driving around looking for cars idling to write tickets. So, ridiculous. All right, here we go. Switches. There we go. You gotta adjust that switch, or the safety switch seems to act up when it gets cold, so you need to bypass that. You fire right up. A little bit of Cheechin out of the pipe. Oh yeah, who's Cheechin this morning? Woo! Blowing some air, boys. Turbo don't like that cold weather. Listen to that, huh? Sounds like an air compressor blowing out of the pipe. I've never heard it make that noise. Woo. I'll let her warm up. Like a damn jet. Never heard that noise. Cool. All right. So we got the new recycle truck, super quiet, propane. All right, guys, let me shut this off. I'll upload it and I got to go inside. I'm freezing.